Hello and welcome to yet another thought-provoking episode from Curly Brace Podcast. I'm Rocket, your co-host and cloud architect, and with me I have Red. What's up, Red?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Today we are talking about robotics and all the news that's coming out in robotics, and this is also our first video podcast. So thank you everyone for tuning into the video podcast. We've been on We've been on Spotify for a while now, and all the other podcast things, but we decided to finally do the transition to video, so super excited about that. So anyway, today we are talking about robotics and all of the news that is coming out around robotics. We will be talking about some of the stuff that Boston Dynamics is doing, and we will be talking about Tesla, right? Tesla robots, that's brand new, coming out.
With Optimus Robots, is that what
right?
They're? Optimus?
And that's really good. Again, we will get into that. I'm super excited about that, but we will get into that. And then just some of the general updates about robotics that I don't think anyone may or may not know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. And I always like to start these kind of like breaking news things with the money around it, because I like to talk about the money. So when we talk about, if you had to guess, Red, how much money, how much revenue robotics brought in 2023, how much do you think it would be?
Okay, so, how much did they bring in? I don't really think about, I think about like software and stuff quite often about how much money that brings in, but I almost think robotics, when I first think of it, is like a losing money kind of game, more of an R&D thing. Right. But I guess with Boston Dynamics, they've made such huge advancements that they do sell. Last I checked, they sell quite a bit of their robots.
Right. Even if it's not consumer yet,
my
it's still...
my guess would be they're in the hundreds of millions. Would be my immediate guess.
$35 billion. $35 billion with a B is how much just revenue robotics has brought in.
Oh,
2023.
You know what? I bet.
Estimated.
So this is robotics in general, right?
Right.
Okay, I bet this includes like Roombas and shit like that too.
I'm sure it does. It does. So because the total robotics market is predicted to reach $275 billion by 2025.
Damn, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it is a lot invested. So much so that the EU is investing €1 billion euros into robotics research.
Really? Just for $1 billion?
Yeah, so it's
a $35 billion industry right now, but they want to invest just $1 billion
for a specific target, though.
Okay,
they're assisting with the self-driving car technology, which is really cool. They're also investing in elderly care robots, specifically for people who, as they get older, they need help with things. So they're investing in that. And then thirdly, they're investing in robots for dangerous environments, like going down in like pipes and sewers and stuff like that. Or
putting out fires.
Right, exactly. So really, really cool that they're making that initiative. And, of course, here we're investing by private companies mostly, but still really cool. So before we dive into the really big, I think 3 things that we want to talk about, there's a couple of smaller things that are also really, really cool that are coming out. So there is a company out there that is called Robotire, and they are building this technology to change car tires all at once with a robot.
For like NASCAR?
No, for like discount tire or for like a tire shop.
So you just pull up in...
There's still a tech, right? And the tech loads the tires in, but the robot basically unscrews the tires, takes the wheels off, rips the old tires off, puts the new tires on, and then screws everything back in, or balances them, and then screws them all back in. And it can do it in 20 minutes. It can change 4 tires in 20 minutes.
That's pretty
Whereas it would
good.
take one tech about an hour to change.
Yeah, I was
all
about
4
to say,
tires.
usually it's about an hour. That's pretty impressive.
Here's another cool thing about it. You can it's robot as a service though.
Robot as a service.
Every tire is $5, I think. It's either every tire or every car costs you $5 to use that machine.
But how are they gonna? I guess they would try. Well, that kind of sucks.
Well, I think you can buy it outright too. I think they were like around $200,000. But I'm doing the math in my head.
If I was Discount Tire, if I was that big company,
of course. But say you were starting a tire shop that was nothing but Robotire, right?
Mom and pop shop, just swapping tires and stuff. Yeah, that would be awesome.
my friend at work and we did the math, and you would make back at Discount Tire, you'd make that back in like 4 months. You'd make $200,000 off of your robot in 4 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because the amount of volume that they handle every day, right?
Right. And
so
they were reducing jobs again here. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Even so much so that robotics in general, the actual robotics programmers, that job market is expected to drop by 2% over the next couple of years.
Right, because of AI. Yeah.
Well, AI and specifically a company called Ready Robotics. So what Ready Robotics is doing is they're taking so a lot of these robotics manufacturers use their own custom code, right? They use their own languages to write these applications on these robots.
There's no standard.
Right, exactly. So what Ready Robotics is doing is it's using AI along with their own robotics engineers, and they are basically doing what Xamarin did, right, in the coding world. And similar to all these other code translation languages. So you can basically, it's a no-code application to make robots do things, whatever robot you buy.
Wow.
And then we can go back to like we talked about in our previous episode where it was the IFTTT. And so you can, again, have multiple robots do if then that, right? So
this would
really,
be
really cool.
Really good for household robots and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So really cool because it's a no-code thing. I just wanted to bring up those couple of things before we dive into the main things that we want to talk about. So the first segment that we're going to talk about is Boston Dynamics, because they have just been continuously pushing the agenda of what a perfect robot looks like. I mean, like, they are just continuously innovating at such a level that I just didn't imagine that I'd see this early on, I guess. I mean, like the Spot robot and the Atlas are just amazing.
You saw the dance videos, right?
I did.
Like the break dance. That looked so unreal. It was
I know, and they can do backflips. That's
amazing. And if you think it's fake, go watch like Corridor Digital. They do a whole breakdown because Corridor Digital is like this whole VFX team, and they're like very well known. They're like, no, there's no way they could have made this VFX. Like it's very real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And that was with I can't remember who that was with. Anyway, but they also are, so Boston Dynamics is also partnering with Hyundai. Okay.
Oh.
And
really?
So they're partnering for the commercial side of things, but instead of like, because you know how Spot was like really advertised for like search and rescue government type stuff?
Yeah.
Atlas, because you always see them picking up boxes and everything, right? It's more designed from a humanoid perspective. And the Hyundai's heavily interested in that for all their logistics stuff. So really, really interesting to see how that partnership will continue, because again,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about, again, the biggest job killer that everyone's afraid of. You know, you've got AI combined now with robots that are actually getting good enough to be able to.
Most people don't understand that, right? They're all thinking, they're all so worried about AI, and they totally forgot about robotics. And it's like, no, these are going hand in hand, people.
Yeah.
Like, you think these desk jobs are going to be replaced by AI. Sure, yeah, you're right. But we're forgetting that robots are going to come and just replace a whole bunch of other jobs.
Right. Like, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's going to be that, and specifically the Atlas robot. And I know, we'll get into the Tesla one here.
I was about to say the Tesla one's pretty impressive too.
It's impressive. But it's one of those things where it's like Atlas has been in the game so long.
It's the one people know.
Right. Not to say that Tesla, I don't have faith in, because again, they're building this ecosystem.
Right.
But it's just, Atlas has definitely been the name of the game for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so Tesla's obviously going to be trying to mimic a lot of that and catch up. So then you'll have, fair competition. Because as cool as Spot is from a government and commercial use, everyone's ready for that robot.
And an R&D perspective as well. Like, holy crap, the advancements they made in robotics with just that one robot was incredible.
Oh, I know. I mean, and it absolutely, servos have never been as good as they are now.
The balancing, the responsiveness,
and all of that.
Again, AI that's implemented with it is just flawless. I mean,
implementing,
wow.
Being able to bring, large data sets and data models and artificial intelligence into robotics now allows for that, like perfect balancing of, feeling and feeling the gyroscopes and then being able to like react but then continue to balance, right? And so like all of those things
continue to persist to reach its goal no matter what happens. You saw the video of where like it's trying to open the door and they just keep kicking it and,
same thing as shoving it, right?
And it's like trying to grab the door and it just doesn't give up. It's still grabbing the door. It does not care.
Yeah, and that's all. It's not like someone said, I'm going to push you 3 times, or for every time I push you,
it's making decisions.
It's making decisions. Even if they are pre-programmed decisions, it's still learning from all of the data it's capturing and then making decisions
in real time.
In real
time. That's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And again, they're going to, Boston Dynamics, they're going to keep pushing along,
They're going to move this industry forward for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing before we get into Tesla, because I'm saving Tesla for the end, but the one thing I did want to touch on was prosthetics. Because when we think of robots, we don't always think that a robot also includes, a bionic hand, right?
Yeah. And synthetic muscles and things like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's been a lot of developments this year alone just on robotics. So the first one I've got is in March of this year, a team of researchers at Massachusetts or MIT. At MIT? Yeah, I think it was MIT. They developed a new prosthetic leg that can walk and run on uneven terrain. And so it uses sensors and actuators, right? Yeah, actuators to mimic the basically mimic the human leg, right? So it detects when you're walking and running, and then it's able to do that on uneven terrain. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Instead of just being a stick,
right?
Yeah, and it's just like a bendable stick. Now you have something that's responsive. That's incredible.
Because depending on so if you are an amputee, right? If you're an amputee below the knee, then those stiff ones, right? They're harder to get used to than obviously a foot. But you can still have, pretty good momentum, right, with that. But, I mean, above the knee, you're basically just
extremely
walking.
Difficult.
It's extremely difficult to mimic the motion of a knee, 2 joints rather than just one that you can kind of mimic with a spring.
You're talking about trying to recreate muscles and tendons, and, like, it's a complex system. And to do that with just 2 bending joints is not possible.
Right, right. Because you also have to have the sense of feel, right? And the sense of like pushing, like all of the nerve endings and all of that, like you just said. I mean, like it's crazy. And then last month we had the University of California, Berkeley, and they developed a prosthetic hand that you can actually feel. So it sends nerve endings.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Dude, I'm assuming it has something to do with the just the small little electrical impulses or pulses that you can send to your nervous system is what I'm guessing.
That's
nuts. But to be that specific and to deal with something like a hand that's constantly moving and still keep those sensors, like I could not
and get those signals back to the brain. Like that's difficult. That's just to think like 2 years ago, that probably would have been an impossible thought.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But they can feel textures and they can feel the shape of the object that they're grasping. I don't know if they can feel necessarily pressure, but they can at least feel a linear level of pressure.
Do you think this was developed in hand with like VR stuff? Because have you noticed that they make those VR gloves?
They do, which are haptic feedback.
And they make you feel stuff. Like you could feel how heavy something. You could like feel an apple. It's round and smooth. Like you could feel it.
I mean, I'm still waiting. I'm honestly still waiting for you to be able to have the gloves, the treadmill, and the headset. Right? I mean, like all of that together.
The
so I can do nothing.
Ready Player One kit.
Ready Player One. That's right. So I can like jump into Call of Duty, grab a gun, and then just feel that gun, and then grab that clip, right? Because I'm just reaching in air, but then I grab that, I feel that clip.
But to feel it,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can feel
and get the resistance when you're trying to put it in there and stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
That would be cool.
There would not be a single overweight gamer if that came out, because I would literally burn 2,000 calories a day at least playing Call of Duty like that.
I burn a ridiculous amount of calories just playing VR now. Like 30 minutes in, and I am like sweating, heart is beating. Like you get into it, man. Like I'm telling you, you get exhausted. Like I think an hour is my max with VR. Once I'm in
Really?
for an hour, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm exhausted. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Um, all right, are you ready?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
so that was April, right? Now
Yep.
this month, University of Michigan has developed a new robotic prosthetic arm that can be controlled by the user's thoughts.
There we go. Now we're talking.
So
Yeah.
now I don't know if it's like I'm just going to reach over here, right? And I don't know if you have to do that versus say arm go up or hand arm go down, hand go up, hand go down, right?
Yeah, is it
But
like a subconscious thought like your normal
exactly.
nervous system, or
Exactly.
is it
But
like you're really thinking about it?
right, but to be fair, right, when we were all infants, we had to learn fine motor skills, and so it kind of was like arm go up, arm go down. So if
I
you
don't know
have it
about
enough
that.
time,
I don't remember being an infinite.
oh, you
I
don't?
think
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I
Okay.
think I was just born a man.
You probably
Yeah.
were. Yeah, it just came
Yeah.
out, hairy chest and
Hair
all.
and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all a
But
ruse.
yeah. But you know what I mean though? Like we had to learn, right? And so I'm wondering if you wear it for a long enough time, if eventually it does just become a subconscious,
That's a great
reaction.
question. I mean,
So
even if you okay, so if it's like a forward thinking thing, like you have to think, move my arm. No matter
right,
how long you wear it, you still have to think, move my arm, right? Because that's
right,
how the technology works,
right,
right? If the technology was capable of adapting to different signals from the brain, then perhaps it would be a subconscious thought.
right,
But the way it's designed, assuming the way it's designed is you have to think about it, it's just gonna be it's always gonna be that way.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And until you can get it to where it's a subconscious thing, obviously, then
Yeah, you'd have to
But
design new hardware and
yeah,
new
I mean,
software to go with
and
it.
this
Yeah.
is a little bit off of the robotics topic, but I mean, we're getting close, right? On the medical side and the bionic side, right? To
Right.
where we can grow tissue, right? We can
Oh, wait,
grow
yeah,
meat,
we're already there. We
and
can do it.
we're
Yeah.
getting to the point to where we can like grow organ, right?
Hmm.
Not necessarily the organ itself, I don't think, but we can grow the cells of that organ, right?
No, I'm pretty sure you can grow a full organ right now.
Can you? I
You
don't
can,
know.
I think Doctor 3D printed an organ not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's I know I have heard about those cell printers, which is
Hmm.
that's just
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it honestly on the, the prosthetics versus the bionics. I hit my mic. The prosthetics versus the bionics, I think you're going to have, a race in and of itself of like, okay, we're going to make the coolest bionic hand, right? But at the same time, it's like you can either choose at some point it's got to be you can choose I can have a metal hand that I can punch through a wall like like it's nothing, or you can have another real hand reattached,
Right.
right?
You're talking about
Like that's right.
biology versus bi
Cyborg.
bionics.
I mean,
Bionics.
yeah,
Yeah.
bionics, cyborg,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, we're already talking about that before. We're about to go into talking about
I'm more
Tesla.
worried about artificial intelligence and things in robotics and things like that getting advanced faster than we can develop technology like that.
Yeah, or will it advance on its own faster than we can implement it to help us, right? Or
That's
to
that's what I'm
integrate with
afraid of.
us. Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm afraid of is AI and robotics combining itself, right? And advancing at a rate that
yeah,
we as human beings can't even keep up with.
right,
And no matter what we research or what we do, we're never even going to get to that stage where we get a chance to study immortality or things like that, because
right,
AI
right,
outpaces us and then takes over,
right. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, and that's one of Elon Musk's biggest worries too, and that's why the whole
Not just
Neuralink.
Elon
Yeah,
Musk, like a lot of the heads of the industry are afraid of
yeah,
this. It's in unchecked hands. AI is dangerous.
yeah. No,
It can be a weapon. It can.
yeah. Actually, everyone go check out our previous episode because we talked about that, or two
Yeah, we
episodes
did.
ago.
We
Yeah,
did
two
talk
episodes
about
ago.
that.
It's called The Dark Side of AI. Go
Talked
check
about
it out
how
because
we talked about how we would use it as a weapon if we had to.
exactly, or
Yeah.
if we were, yeah. So
Nefarious peoples.
exactly. Or just paid, to do it. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right, you ready to do this? You ready to
Yep.
jump into Tesla?
Tesla. Let's hear about it.
All right, so Optimus is the name of the robot. Okay,
Yeah.
So do you know how long they've been working on this? Because I don't know.
I don't know how long they. To be honest, like I think I just heard about it like a few weeks ago when they
Yeah.
debuted their latest video on it, and that was the first I heard of it, and I was like, oh, weird.
Yeah. So they the earliest I have is in January of this year. Musk came out and said that he was hoping to have a prototype done by the end of the year. And it was the robot's very important to the company and that it could be a massive product, right? Just basically a talk up, right? A pitch speech basically about
it's not going to be done by the end of the year. That's not possible.
A prototype, but
it
outside
wouldn't,
of
maybe
not mass sellable, right?
No.
Not commercially or
I'm not even sure a full blown prototype could be done in 12 months.
I mean,
assuming he announced it, and assuming he announced it in January. In 1 year, you're talking about developing something to rival Boston Dynamics, maybe even further. Because I don't know if you've seen the Optimus robot, but it doesn't look anything like the Boston Dynamics ones.
No. The like, and again, Atlas just seems so far ahead of Optimus, right?
And that's what their competition is. And even a prototype's not going to come close to that in 1 year.
Well, but it could be an apples to oranges
kind of comparison
competition, right? Because Atlas and Boston Dynamics could be focusing on the commercial and the government side, and then Elon is trying to solve
the butler,
the butler, the maid, or in the case of the EU thing, the elderly care. Right. Mm-hmm. And so all I have to do is just go bring you things that you need and stuff like that.
In my personal opinion, that is a million times more complex than just commercial use.
I agree with you, but we'll see. I mean, again, they have the neural network. They obviously have it in the cars. They're doing
they have a neural network. That doesn't mean it's properly trained for robotics.
I agree. But they do have, the supercomputers that are
I think they have potential to build. I think they're going to build this. I do, but it's not going to be in 1 year.
Yeah, I agree with you, but we will see. So March came around, and then Tesla announced they were hiring 3,000 people to work on their robots.
Really?
So they're hiring engineers, roboticists, and manufacturing experts to try to bring Optimus.
More people doesn't always equal better quality.
Agreed, but there's
always muddy the waters,
I agree, but there's also the prediction that if every single person learned how to write software, we could literally write our own utopia in 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, there is that. It's some philosophy or something out there. I forget who even came up.
We would all have to be so
don't have to be good.
No, not good. Not good. I mean, like, just communication would have to be flawless.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no mistakes. Like, no miscommunication. Everybody would have to keep the flow. You know what I mean? You're talking about billions of people working in harmony. Like, not gonna happen.
I would like to volunteer to be the project manager over South Africa. Okay, understood. Yes, thank you, sir. And then who's gonna volunteer to be over the United States? We need at least 3, I think. 3 people?
3?
Right? Yeah.
3 people?
Yeah. I'm just
we got 500 million employees, but let's make 3 people.
It usually seems like the average ratio for project managers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We went off a little bit
there. Tesla Robotics. Yeah.
Yes.
Optimus.
Yes. So then they did so that was March, right? And then they did their video release at the end of April.
Right, yeah, which we saw.
420, of course, on 420. And showing that it can do all of this stuff and everything. But again, my skepticism comes from that's really cool in a video, right? But I want to see you actually stress test this thing. I mean, even to Atlas's point, right? Even to Atlas, right?
Yeah.
We're watching a video rather than a live, demonstration. But I think Boston Dynamics has done some live demonstrations.
Boston Dynamics has done some incredible stuff to show us their capabilities.
Yeah.
Tesla has not. Tesla has staged an event, and that is it.
Right.
We know nothing. We don't even know if the robots are actually capable of what he showed.
Yeah, exactly. All we've got is that it's going to be a general purpose robot, and he said this a couple of days ago, but that it's going to be a general purpose robot, and that it can do like a variety of tasks, like picking up groceries, which again, I'm like, picking up groceries? What do you mean? Like going to the store? Like it's gonna hop in it's gonna hop in your Tesla, ride to the store, go shopping for you.
Ideally, I think Elon Musk would want the Tesla to drive itself to the store, pick up the groceries, like have somebody come out and drop the groceries in the trunk, drive back and have the robot walk out, pull the groceries out of the trunk and put it in the fridge.
Right.
That would be assuming. Ideal. Right.
He also said that it would assemble furniture, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I bet he's done like, I bet he's like planning on 2 pieces of IKEA furniture.
Yeah. Like the schematics have to be available online to be able to build it, right? So and then like loading dishwashers and stuff, which I could see. I could see loading dishwashers. Yeah,
that's
grabbing something out of the fridge, right? I could see something like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, I think that's basically everything that's going on in robotics today.
Currently,
yeah. I mean, so how this impacts us, right? So obviously, there's a race right now going on with AI. Robotics is right there alongside it, right?
And they are coinciding with each other. Yep. They are building. What the attempt. I don't want to say the attempt is to build a utopian society, because I'm not sure that is the attempt. I think the attempt is obviously to make money. But we're pushing for that. As normal people like me and you, Rocket, we're pushing for a utopian society because that's what we'd like to have.
Because we know that it's possible, right? Like there is a possibility, right, that you can have this society where everything is done for you by automation and technology,
and your only purpose as a human being is
to ensure that it runs.
Well, to ensure that runs, and eventually you probably won't even have to do that, but your purpose should be creativity, discovery, and the perseverance of humanity itself, right?
Right.
That should be our focus
if all jobs are taken care of, then and like gathering, like let's go back to the basics: building shelter, gathering food.
That's right. Yep.
Like a logistics network now, right? That's essential.
Once we're at unlimited resources, right? Unlimited resources means utopian society.
Right. So, that's what's coming along. In a shorter term, though, obviously robotics is going to kill jobs. At the end of the day, it's been killing jobs for years, whether you realize it or not, right? I mean, the car. Red and I are huge car fans, so I always go back to the car industry. But the assembly line is so much of a robot and so much less of a person.
The assembly line is at risk, big time, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It is. Yeah. Well, the assembly line's already been basically replaced, but next will be,
Somewhat.
The waiter, right? The waiter.
There won't be one.
The bank teller, right?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Right? The office assistant.
I'm pretty sure office assistants are already out the window right now. They're going.
Yeah,
as we speak.
Yeah. So if you were in one of those fields, just realize that robots are coming, and they are coming to replace your jobs.
And this isn't back to that utopian society. We're not anywhere near that. So what we're looking at is more of a kind of doom and gloom kind of situation here, where in about 10 to 15 years, a majority of jobs will be replaced by AI and robotics, and that'll leave a lot of people kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And again, the safest place, and it's not software developers, honestly.
No,
I mean,
it's
really not, because we're kind of building ourselves out of jobs.
It's
the trades work. Honestly, it's the trades. Crawling under a trailer, or breaking
troubleshooting an AC unit, right?
Yep, troubleshooting an AC unit, all that kind of stuff. Again, I think that's probably the last stop for AI and robotics, just because it's such a human dominated field, and there's so many variables that go into that.
I would have agreed with you. Just 2 days ago, but yesterday I saw a video of a guy using an AI that has a camera, and it is helping him troubleshoot this board, this circuit board. I don't remember what it was, but he was like, it's like, the circuit board's not working. Do you know why? And she's like, she was breaking down the troubleshooting steps exactly how I would troubleshoot it.
It's taking like a live video of a PCI board.
Yes, and it's like it is troubleshooting it the way I would troubleshoot it. And then he's like, "No, I already tried all that." And she goes, "Oh, okay. Well, let me just order you a new one then. If you tried all that, you can try a new one because if you've done all that already, then it's probably the board itself." And she ordered him a new one.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "What the hell?" Oh man, if it's like sitting there thinking and troubleshooting a problem, then that's like 10, 15 years. That's on the same track as everything else. You know what I mean?
That is crazy, dude. That is absolutely crazy.
Yep.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The only good thing, that, and of course, there's a lot of good things that comes from robotics, right? Obviously, a lot of people, will have to find another job, and that's a bad thing. But there's a lot of good things that are come.
There's a lot of good things.
Not having to do stuff, right? The safety of, forest firefighters is one of the first things that comes to my mind, right? You don't have to send people into a place where there's danger, right? And again, this is on the government side, but soldiers, same thing with soldiers, right? You don't need soldiers on the front lines anymore.
Oh, if we get into that, then there's a debate of both sides having robotics and pushing, and then whoever pushes more money and more robotics further gets to the point where they're killing people.
Hold on. It would literally go back to the Civil War days where you would have like people sitting on like sitting in a field watching the soldiers fight, right?
Yeah.
Right? It would go back to that, but it would be robots, right? People would come out and say, "Mommy, Daddy, robots are about to fight."
Right, but my point is whoever wins is going to walk up and kill the kid and the
in today's day and age.
Yeah. Yes,
of course, because the rules of war have completely changed.
Yeah.
Well, the rules of war are ignored, I should say.
They're ignored. Yeah. There's war crimes, but seem to be ignored in these current times. So
right.
Yeah.
But so for the elderly though, huge benefit. Right.
That is such an amazing thing. I mean, if we look at statistics, it shows that the elderly people are the most abused demographic. Like when we're talking about abuse, like physical abuse, mental abuse, it's elderly people who suffer the most.
Right.
And robotics might just eliminate that.
Right. It at least can cut it out where they are there. Right.
Yeah.
Because again, there's no bias. There's no human nature.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least
it's just the care for the patient. That's it.
Right. Okay. I think it is time to wrap this one up.
Yeah. I think that was a great talk, man.
Yeah.
That was a good talk.
I think so too. Yeah. So we talked about the Boston Dynamics stuff, right? Talked about Tesla robot. We talked about prosthetics and bionics and the future there, right? And then we covered a couple other little cool things like the robo tire, and then the ready robotics that's gonna merge all the stuff together, all the code together. So that's really cool. This was a great episode. I like the video format.
I love the video format. This feels great. Yeah.
This turned out really, really well.
Yeah.
Everyone who is watching and listening, thank you so much for your continued support. We love being able to talk about stuff like this and love to continue to advance our podcast here with switching to video. Red is building a studio. He's getting that underway. He's suffering through right now, sitting in the hot air because the AC
80
is
degrees.
Not fully, yeah. So he's suffering through there, but we're getting that all ready and stood up, and so we'll have a full-blown studio here going soon.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you want to submit any feedback, please go leave us a voice message or leave a comment below if you're on YouTube. And
don't forget to subscribe.
Yep.
Get notifications, exactly right. And we're doing this every week.
Right. Please follow us and like where applicable.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, till next time. This has been Rocket and Red. We're signing off.
See you guys later.
See you later.